This is football. This and this. We love the great game of football, but we all love that moment when someone gets lit up, even more than this. But what happens when a man unleashes his inner beast on a football field? Imagine a defender so ferocious that opponents change their game plans. A player whose very presence makes wide receivers hear footsteps and quarterbacks second-guess everything. He wasn't the biggest or the fastest, yet he struck fear like few ever have. The NFL has seen many hard hitters, but one has earned a nickname straight out of a comic book and a reputation that rattled even the bravest. How did a mild-mannered young man transform into one of the most feared figures on the football field? Philadelphia. It's the late 1990s. The Eagles were stuck, desperately seeking a defensive spark to reignite their franchise.
Philadelphia nothing coming up, J.B. Terry.
In stepped an unlikely savior, Brian Dawkins, a 6'0", 210-pound safety out of Clemson. Hardly a giant by NFL standards, but what he lacked in size, he made up for in speed, heart, and ferocity. The Eagles snagged him with the 61st overall pick in the 1996 NFL Draft in the second round.
Done, followed by Brian Dawkins.
Fans might not have expected much from pick number 61, but the Philadelphia front office saw a hidden gem. This young safety had a relentless energy and a deep spiritual core, traits that would soon define the team's identity. From the moment he arrived, there was an aura of intensity about him. Teammates noticed his crazy work ethic and fiery focus in practice. Still, early on, he was just another rookie fighting for a roster spot on special teams. In 1996, the Eagles' defense was solid but unspectacular, and the franchise had been treading water for years. Little did anyone know, the key to the Eagles' comeback was quietly lurking in that rookie class, waiting for his moment. The stage was set in the city of brotherly love, a team craving a leader, and a player about to ignite a defensive revolution, one bone-jarring hit at a time. Our story's hero didn't dominate from day one. He had to claw his way up the depth chart. And when we say dominate, we mean dominate. In his 1996 rookie season, he cut his teeth on special teams and as a backup safety, eager to make an impact whenever the opportunity would come. It didn't take long. With his vicious hits on kick coverage and in practice, coaches and veterans took notice. By week 3 of that season, head coach Ray Rhodes elevated him to the starting lineup. The rookie rewarded that faith. He snagged his first career interception by week 4 and finished his first year with 75 tackles, 3 interceptions, a sack, and a forced fumble. The Eagles hadn't just found a contributor, they'd found a tone setter. But still, as always, doubters remained. Can he last playing like this? The next few years, our star weapon had firmly locked in his role as the Eagles' starting free safety. The stats started to pile up. 4 interceptions in 1999 alone, earning him his first Pro Bowl nod. More importantly, the persona that would define him began to emerge. He cultivated an alter ego he called Weapon X, inspired by the Marvel Comics character Wolverine. He played as if he had unbreakable bones and animal instinct. Teammates and fans noticed a change in him on game days. He'd emerge from the tunnel almost in a trance of intensity, sometimes even came crawling out on all fours. Coming out of that tunnel, he transforms. Former teammate Terrell Owens later said, "During the week, he's Brian Dawkins. Game day, he's Wolverine." Of course, skeptics still wondered if his all-out style would burn him out. He missed some time with injuries. This seemed inevitable, given how he crashed into ball carriers like a human missile. Was he big enough to endure a 16-game gauntlet year after year? But with each crushing hit and leaping interception, the legend of Weapon X grew larger by the play. By 2001, he earned first-team All-Pro honors, proving that he wasn't just an intense hitter, he was a complete playmaker. You could also be a playmaker by hitting that subscribe button. The Eagles as a team were rising too. After years stuck in neutral, they finally found traction under new head coach Andy Reid. By 2002, Philadelphia had become a real playoff contender, with Weapon X as the heartbeat of the defense. The question now, could this new leader push them over the hump and into Super Bowl glory? Literally. You guys loved our video on the toughest players in NFL history, so upon demand from you, we are going to dive deep into one of our favorites from that list. This man takes the word tough and made it lethal. That man is Weapon X, aka the Weapon X era. Over the next 7 seasons, our hero racked up 7 Pro Bowl selections and 4 first-team All-Pro honors, establishing him as one of the NFL's elite defenders. Intercepting passes, blitzing for sacks, forcing tumbles, and leading with an emotional fervor unmatched by anyone else on the field. In 2002, in a game against the Houston Texans, he did everything. Recorded a sack, an interception, a fumble recovery, and even caught a 57-yard touchdown pass on a trick play. He became the first player in NFL history to fill the stat sheet in that way. That game cemented what Eagles fans already knew. There was truly nothing he couldn't do. He also had a knack for game-changing plays. In 2002, he tallied 3 sacks, 2 interceptions, and multiple forced fumbles, often in the biggest moments. One of his signature moves was the ball-jarring hit, swooping in like a hawk and punching or ripping the football loose. Over his career, he forced 36 fumbles, the most by any defensive back in the NFL since 1980, a testament to how his hits could separate man from ball and possibly a receiver's soul from his body. In simpler terms, if you came into his territory, you paid the price. One by one, iconic moments piled up, hit after hit. In the 2004 NFC Championship game, with a Super Bowl berth on the line, the Philadelphia defense faced the Atlanta Falcons, led by explosive quarterback Michael Vick. Early in the game, Vick tested X deep with his tight end Alge Crumpler, a big target, outweighing our safety by more than 50 pounds. The result was pure football violence. Dawkins sprinted across the field and literally obliterated Crumpler with a hit so hard it echoed through the stadium. It was a clean, perfectly timed shoulder to the chest that sent the 260-pound Crumpler crashing to the turf. The ball somehow was caught, but that crunching collision set the tone. As Dawkins later described it, it just so happened that Alge got the brunt of that blow when it comes to the frustration and anger I felt. The Eagles had lost 3 straight NFC title games prior, and on that hit, Weapon X unloaded 3 years worth of pain, disrespect, and disappointment with one swift blow. The message to the Falcons was clear: not this time. Philadelphia went on to win 27-10, finally reaching the Super Bowl. That entire 2004 season was the apex of his time in Philadelphia. The Eagles' defense was dominant, and Dawkins was its undisputed enforcer. In that NFC title game alone, beyond the Crumpler hit, he also intercepted Michael Vick in the 4th quarter and forced a fumble on a separate bone-rattling tackle. Yet, heartbreak was part of this tale, sadly. In the Super Bowl 39 against the New England Patriots, the Eagles fell just short in a gut-wrenching loss. Dawkins had 9 tackles in the game, bringing his usual intensity, but it wasn't enough to secure the championship. That defeat stung. You could see it in his eyes after the game. Dawkins shouldered the pain and kept grinding. "It's on me to bring us back here," he vowed. The Eagles remained contenders in the mid-2000s, and he continued to produce at an all-pro level. In 2006, at 32 years old, he had one of his best seasons, with 4 interceptions, 5 forced fumbles, and 93 tackles, showing no signs of slowing down. Fans nicknamed him Weapon X, in homage to his Wolverine-like transformation, and he embraced it fully. The crowd would erupt as their hero psychically flipped the switch into his alter ego. That intensity was 100% real. He kept a separate locker at the stadium labeled Weapon X, filled with Wolverine figures, comic book clippings.
"Hey man, what's up with these little figurines you have up in your locker?" He said, "Well, I'm Weapon X now."
And reminders of the controlled rage he'd unleash on Sundays. Sean McDermott even said, "I honestly think to this day, Brian believes that's who he became when he went onto the field. It was as if the mild-mannered Brian Dawkins vanished, and Weapon X took over, clawing and snarling for 60 minutes. By the end of 2008, X had given everything to Philadelphia. That year, at age 35, he helped lead the Eagles on another playoff run, including a legendary 44-6 run against the Cowboys in the season finale, a game Eagles fans still talk about. He was everywhere, forcing fumbles, making hits that brought the stadium to madness in what would be his last game as an Eagle. 7 Pro Bowls as an Eagle, multiple All-Pros, countless big plays. The fan favorite and the soul of the team. After the 2008 season, a bombshell hit Philadelphia. Brian Dawkins was leaving. In early 2009, Dawkins signed with the Denver Broncos as a free agent. The news stunned Eagles fans. Many never imagined him wearing another jersey. Philadelphia's front office had hesitated to give a long-term deal to a 35-year-old safety, and Denver swooped in with an offer. After 13 seasons in Midnight Green, he tearfully thanked the Philly fans and assured them a part of his heart would always remain in Philadelphia. In Denver, Dawkins quickly proved that age was just a number. He immediately became the leader of the Broncos' defense, earning 2 more Pro Bowl selections in 2009 and 2011. The Weapon X aura transcended teams. Even in the mile-high city, opponents still feared him. Yet, the wear and tear of 16 seasons eventually caught up. In April 2012, Brian Dawkins announced his retirement from the NFL. True to his class and loyalty, he signed a 1-day contract with Philadelphia so he could officially retire as an Eagle. allowing fans to claim him forever as one of their own. The Eagles organization held a special ceremony for him that fall, retiring his number 20 jersey and celebrating a career that had defined an era in Philly. The roar of B-Doc chants rained down from the stands one more time as Dawkins, ever emotional, thanked the fans with tears in his eyes. Philadelphia's defense, meanwhile, struggled in the shadow left by Weapon X's departure. The team lacked that enforcer in the secondary, that emotional leader to rally around. Without him, the Eagles' defense was not the same. On social media, highlight reels of Dawkins' greatest hits kept circulating, keeping his memory fresh. One particularly famous clip, that destruction of Alge Crumpler in the 2004 playoffs, became a viral meme among Eagles circles when Weapon X sees you in his zone. Years later, when safety Cam Chancellor was laying out hits for the Seahawks, fans dubbed him the Next Dawkins, a high compliment indeed, as Dawkins had inspired a new generation of enforcers. But make no mistake, even Chancellor and others would admit B-Doc set the bar high. Philadelphia never forgot their adopted son. In fact, the city was counting down the days until he'd be eligible for the Hall of Fame. And sure enough, the honors began rolling in. The Eagles added Brian Dawkins to their Ring of Honor, and he was voted as the team's greatest ever defender. Who is Brian Weapon X Dawkins? He redefined the safety position. In pure football terms, 34 interceptions over 13 seasons with Philadelphia, tied for the most in Eagles history. Let's break it down. 37 interceptions, 26 sacks, and 36 forced fumbles in his career, with 9 Pro Bowls. Hall of Fame in 2018. The team officially retired number 20 in 2012. Dawkins showed one could do it all. Cover elite receivers, blitz like a linebacker, support the run, and lead the entire defense with charisma. Newly married, a new father, and trying to meet sky-high expectations in a rabid football town, Dawkins fell into a dark place. Around the time of his Hall of Fame induction, Dawkins opened up about his personal battles with depression and mental health. He admitted that early in his NFL career, particularly as a rookie, the pressure and life changes became overwhelming. He drank heavily and even contemplated ending it all. "I know what it feels like, the dark place that I went through. Times I didn't want to leave my home," he told ESPN, urging others who struggle to keep pushing through. Dawkins credited his faith and family for helping him climb out of that hole. Dawkins has become an advocate for cerebral wellness, as he calls it, emphasizing that even the toughest among us can struggle, and that's okay, proving that beneath the Weapon X exterior was a human being who fought inner battles as intense as those on the field. In the years since retiring, Dawkins has stayed connected to the sport and the city he loves. In 2016, he even returned to the Eagles, serving as a football operations executive to mentor and motivate younger players. While he eventually stepped away from that front office position, off the field, he started the Brian Dawkins Impact Foundation to help underserved communities and mental health awareness, hoping to tackle stigma the way he once tackled receivers. Ask Eagles fans about Dawkins now, and you'll hear nothing but love. Brian Dawkins is an Eagle, period. Denver got a few late chapters, but Philadelphia is where Weapon X truly became legend. Brian Weapon X Dawkins retired as an icon, not just for the Eagles, but for the NFL. He left behind a template on how talent fused with heart can achieve immortality on the gridiron. In Philadelphia, the defense has never been the same since he patrolled the secondary. Players with his rare combination of skill, intensity, and soul come along maybe once in a generation. He wasn't just a hard hitter or a ball hawk, he was a game changer. The kind of player whose impact you feel in the win column, in the locker room, and in the stands. The sight of Dawkins doing his pre-game crawl, or the sound of him roaring after a big tackle, those are memories etched in the minds of Eagles fans forever. As Dawkins himself said, "Blessed by the Lord to play this game the way I did." And play it he did, with every ounce of himself. And so our tale of the most lethal NFL player, a man who struck fear into opponents' hearts while inspiring everyone around him, comes to a close. But the story of NFL legends doesn't end here. If you're hungry for more tales of game-changing players and unforgettable moments, you're in luck. Watch our next